We all love action games, and some provide us with incredible experiences that will stay with us to this day. The rest of 2024 and 2025 looks set to introduce us to more explosive experiences. So with that, today we're diving deep into 15 huge action games coming to Xbox and Xbox Game Pass very soon. These titles are packed with intense combat, epic storylines, and jaw-dropping visuals that will really keep you glued to your screen. My name is Fletcher, this is Xbox Nation. Subscribe for more Xbox content every single day, and let's dive right in. First up, we have the first Berserker Kazan. This action RPG is making waves with its gritty Souls-like combat, but with a twist that adds a fresh layer of intensity. You will play as Kazan, a hardened general of the Pellos Empire who narrowly escapes death and embarks on a vengeful quest. The game's combat system is all about weight and precision, with every swing of your weapon feeling impactful, and timing is also very crucial. Unlike faster, more arcade-style action games, Kazan slows things slightly down, making every encounter a strategic battle of endurance. The trailers have shown some epic boss fights and a variety of deadly enemies, and while the frame rates in early footage were a bit shaky, the overall fluidity of the combat has me pumped to dive in. Next, we're talking about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. If you've ever dreamed of stepping into the shoes of the legendary archaeologist himself, this game is definitely for you. The Great Circle isn't just about cracking whips and dodging boulders, though there's plenty of that in this game. The game promises a rich narrative that spans multiple exotic locations, each filled with so many ancient secrets and deadly traps. Combat will play a significant role in this game, with a mix of hand-to-hand fighting, gunplay, and of course, Indy's trusty whip. The developers have teased dynamic environmental puzzles and intense action sequences that will really keep you on the edge of your seat. It's a thrilling blend of action and adventure that captures the spirit of the classic movies, and I cannot wait to see more when it comes to Xbox Game Pass. Crimson Desert is another title that's got everyone talking. Originally envisioned as a spin-off from Black Desert Online, this game has evolved into a fully fledged single-player RPG that's aiming to redefine the entire genre. Set in a vast war-torn world, Crimson Desert offers a rich narrative driven by a cast of complex characters, but it's the combat that really sets it apart from its competitors. Unlike The Witcher 3, which had some combat limitations, Crimson Desert promises a more flexible and dynamic system. You'll be able to engage in brutal sword fights, execute powerful finishing moves, and even use the environment to your advantage. The game also features some truly stunning visuals, with massive open world environments that are teeming with so much life. If you're a fan of RPGs with a very deep, immersive combat system, Crimson Desert should be at the top of your own list. Now, let's switch gears to something a bit different with Kingmakers. This game combines massive medieval battles with a modern twist, literally. Imagine leading a charge of knights into battle, only to pull out a pistol or call in an airstrike. The game's premise revolves around time travel, blending the brutality of medieval warfare with the firepower of modern military tech. The sheer scale of battles in this game looks really impressive, with hundreds of soldiers clashing on screen at once. You'll be commanding troops, engaging in hand-to-hand combat, and unleashing devastating modern weapons on your enemies. The concept for this game is just absolutely wild, but the execution does look really solid, with some truly epic moments teased in its trailers. If Kingmakers can deliver on its promise, it could be one of the most innovative action games we've ever seen in many years. Now, let's talk about Spine. If you've ever wanted to feel like you're in a John Wick movie, this game is certainly one game on your radar. Spine takes close quarters gun combat to a whole new level, combining the fluidity of games like Uncharted with the intensity of third-person shooters. The game's combat system is all about merging gunplay with melee combat in a seamless way. You'll be able to dodge bullets, disarm enemies, and pull off incredible stunts, all whilst engaging in fast-paced firefights. The developers have cited movies like The Matrix as inspiration, and it shows in the game's stylish kinetic action sequences. There's no release date planned for this one as of yet, but the gameplay footage we have seen so far looks incredibly promising. This could easily be one of the standout action games of the next year. Of course, we cannot forget about Call of Duty Black Ops 6. The Black Ops series has always been known for its tight, fast-paced gunplay, and the 6th installment looks like it's going to push things even further. While details on the story are still tightly under wraps, we can expect a return to the high-intense, high-stakes combat that the series is just known for at this point. Multiplayer is, as always, a major focus for Call of Duty, with new modes, maps and weapons, making sure that players keep coming back for more. But what really has me excited in this new entry is the revamped Zombies mode, which could take the co-op experience to whole new heights. Whether you're a long-time fan of the series or just a newcomer, Black Ops 6 is shaping up to be a must-play for any action game enthusiast, and it's also day one onto Xbox Game Pass. Next up, we have Dragon Age: The Veilguard, a game that's been on my radar for quite some time now. As a long-time fan of the Dragon Age series, I've been really eagerly anticipating this next installment, and it looks like it's going to deliver in spades. The Veilguard brings back the tactical combat that fans of the series love, but with a slightly modern twist. The game features a real-time combat system with the option to pause and issue commands, allowing for a blend of strategy and action that feels both familiar and fresh. The story promises to dive deep into the lore of Thedas, exploring new regions and characters whilst also tying up some loose ends from previous games. With stunning visuals, a rich narrative, and a combat system that's both deep and satisfying, Dragon Age: The Veilguard could finally be the game that brings the series back to its former glory. Moving on, let's take a look at Judas, the latest project from Ken Levine, the mastermind behind the BioShock series. Judas takes place in a dystopian future where you'll be battling robotic enemies and uncovering dark secrets in a setting that's as mysterious as it is dangerous. The game features a combat system that builds on the mechanics of BioShock, with a focus on using a variety of powers and weapons to overcome your enemies. The environments are very richly detailed with a sense of atmosphere that really draws you in, making every encounter feel intense and meaningful. Levine has a reputation for creating games with a very deep and thought-provoking narrative, and Judas looks like it's going to be no exception. Set for a potential release by March of 2025, this is one title you'll definitely want to keep your eye on. Let's talk about Doom: The Dark Ages. This game takes the fast-paced, brutal combat of Doom and drops it all into a medieval setting. You'll be wielding sword, axes, and other brutal medieval weapons. The game will still be as fast and furious as ever. The game features a mix of melee combat and ranged attacks with a focus on chaining together combos and using the environment to your advantage. The enemies are just as terrifying as ever, as you come to expect with a Doom game, with demonic knights, undead warriors, and other horrors waiting to tear you apart. Set for a 2025 release, Doom: The Dark Ages looks like it's going to deliver the same adrenaline-pumping action that fans of the series really love, but this time it's got a fresh new twist that should appeal to both longtime fans and newcomers alike. It is also coming day one onto Xbox Game Pass, so I know many of its Xbox fans can't wait to get our hands on it. Avowed from Obsidian is another RPG that's got everyone talking. Set in the Pillars of Eternity universe, Avowed promises to deliver a rich, immersive experience that blends the deep lore of a classic RPG with the intense first-person combat of a modern action game. The combat system looks like an amped-up version of Skyrim with more intensity and a whole lot of depth. You'll be able to cast wonderful spells, swinging massive swords, and battling all manner of creatures in a world that's as dangerous as it is beautiful. The game also features a dynamic world that will react to your choices, with multiple different factions and a branching storyline that promises to keep you engaged from the very start. With a fixed release date planned for February next year, Avowed is definitely one to watch when it comes to Xbox Game Pass. Now, let's talk about Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl. This game brings the tense, atmospheric combat that the series is known for to a whole new next generation. Set in the eerie radioactive wasteland of Chernobyl, Stalker 2 is all about your survival. You'll be able to scavenge for supplies, battling both human and mutant enemies, and navigating a world that's as hostile as it is hauntingly beautiful. The game features a mix of survival horror and first-person shooting, with a focus on tension and atmosphere that makes every encounter feel like life or death. The developers have also promised a deep branching narrative with multiple different endings based on your choices. If you're a fan of games that keep you on the edge of your seat, then Stalker 2 is definitely one to keep your eye on, and the release of this game is now only a couple of months away. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando is next on our list, and it's shaping up to be a blast, literally. This co-op shooter is all about blasting hordes of zombies with big guns, and it's got the style and attitude to match that. The game is heavily influenced by Carpenter's iconic film style, with a soundtrack that features Bon Jovi and visuals that are dripping with 80s flair. But it's not just about style. Toxic Commando promises intense, fast-paced action that's perfect for playing with friends. You'll be mowing down waves of the undead, using a variety of weapons and vehicles to take on increasingly tough challenges. The game is set to release later in 2025, and is looking like a must-play for fans of co-op shooters and zombie games. Dead Rising Deluxe Remastered remaster is another title that's sure to get fans excited. This full graphical overhaul of the classic zombie slaying game brings the chaos of the zombie-infested molds to life like never before. The game features all of the over-the-top action and humor that fans of the series really love, but with significantly improved visuals and performance. Whether you're crafting crazy weapons, rescuing survivors, or just having fun smashing zombies with whatever you can find, Dead Rising offers a unique blend of action and survival gameplay that's as fun today as when it was when the game launched many years ago. Set for a September the 18th release date, this remaster is the perfect way to revisit a series or experience it for the very first time. Next up, we have Black Myth Wukong, an action RPG inspired by a classic Chinese novel, Journey to the West. The game is all about fast, fluid combat with a focus on dodging and timing rather than blocking. You play as Wukong, the Monkey King, battling your way through a world filled with mythical creatures and powerful enemies. The combat is reminiscent of Sekiro, but with its own unique flair, featuring a variety of weapons and abilities that you can use to outmaneuver and outsmart your enemies. The game's visuals are stunning, with beautifully detailed environments and character designs that bring the world of Chinese mythology to life. The game is currently coming out on PC and other consoles on the 20th of August, but an Xbox release date is coming out hopefully later on this year or into early 2025. Black Myth Wukong is one of the most anticipated action games of this year, and we cannot wait to see it finally release on Xbox sometime soon. And finally, we have Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. This game is the highly anticipated follow-up to the 2011 original, and it looks like it's going to deliver even more of the intense, brutal action that fans of the series really love. You play as a Space Marine battling against overwhelming odds in the grimdark future of the 40k universe. The game blends third-person shooting with hack-and-slash combat, allowing you to take on hordes of enemies with a variety of weapons and abilities. The environments are richly detailed with massive battles that capture the scale and brutality of the 40k setting. With a release expected this September, Space Marine 2 is poised to be one of the standout action games of this year, and it could even be a Game of the Year contender. But before we wrap up, I've got a couple of bonus games for you. First, we have Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is taking the classic stealth action formula and pushing it to a new heights. This latest entry in the Assassin's Creed series is set in Japan, which many fans have been asking for years. The game promises some of the most detailed and immersive environments in the series to date, with a level of realism and attention to detail that's sure to impress you. Whether you're a long-time fan of the series or new to the world of Assassin's Creed Shadows, it's shaping up to be a must-play. And last but not least, Killing Floor 3 promises even more of the co-op zombie slaying action that fans of the series really love. This time around, the game is introducing many new weapons, new enemies, and new ways to take on the undead horde. The core gameplay is still all about teamwork and strategy, but with more options for customization and a deeper progression system. The game also features some truly gruesome enemy designs with new types of zombies that are more challenging and terrifying than ever before. Which one of these action games are you most excited for? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Xbox content every single week. Whilst you're here, why don't you check out our most recent video of the 20 best games on Xbox Game Pass that you can play this August 2024.